The year was 2189. Harlan's Reach was a small colony on the edge of known space. Green hills rolled under a pale yellow sky. Wide rivers cut through soft soil. People lived in towns made of stone and old ship metal. They grew crops, raised animals, and fixed machines. Life moved slow here. Most folks liked it that way. Daniel Brooks lived 10 kilometers from the nearest town. He was 52 years old, tall and broad, with short gray hair and a thick gray beard. His left leg dragged a little when he walked. An old crash in deep space had done that. For 30 years he had flown cargo ships. He hauled ore, food, and sometimes people who needed to disappear. Then one bad landing ended his flying days. He came to Harlan's Reach to stay quiet. He bought a small piece of land, built a plain house with a wide porch, raised goats, grew vegetables, fixed things for neighbors when they asked. Most evenings, he sat outside with black coffee and watched the 2 small moons climb the sky. Daniel kept to himself. He spoke little, smiled less. People called him steady, reliable. Some said cold. He did not mind. He had seen enough of the galaxy to know words did not change much. One night in late autumn, the sky changed. A bright line of fire cut across the dark. It moved too straight for a meteor, too controlled. It screamed down behind Daniel's house. Trees cracked like dry wood. Ground shook. A loud boom rolled over the hills. Then silence came. Daniel stood up from his porch chair. He set the coffee cup down. He walked inside. From the closet, he took an old pulse rifle. It was heavy and scratched. He checked the charge. Full. He grabbed a strong flashlight and a small medkit. He did not call the town watch. Not yet. He had learned long ago that help could arrive too late, or make things worse. He walked through the dark field. His bad leg ached in the cold. The goats stirred in their pen, but did not call out. The air smelled of burnt metal and hot dirt. The crash site was a wide hole in the forest. Broken trees lay like sticks. Smoke rose thin and gray. In the center sat the wreck. It was not a normal ship. The hull looked like black scales. Long curved spines ran along its back. The shape was wrong, more animal than machine. It looked grown, not built. Daniel moved closer, slow steps, rifle low but ready. A wet sound came from the ship. A seam opened along the side. Steam hissed out. Something big moved inside. It stepped into the light of his flashlight. The creature stood 8 feet tall. 4 thick arms hung from wide shoulders. A long neck led to a head like a wolf mixed with a reptile. Sharp teeth filled a wide mouth. Natural armor plates covered its body in dark green and black. Claws clicked on the ground. Red eyes glowed soft in the beam of light. It looked at Daniel. Daniel looked back. Neither moved for a long moment. Then the creature spoke. The voice was deep and rough, like stones grinding. But the words came clear in English. "Human," it said. "You stand. You do not flee." Daniel kept his voice level. "Fleeing never fixed anything for me." The creature tilted its head. One armored hand opened. In the wide palm rested 3 leathery eggs. Each was the size of a human football. They shone with a faint inner blue light. Small movements pushed against the shells from inside. "I am HFY," the creature said. "Last hunter of my line. My people are gone. The iron fleets of the Core Concord hunted us. They burned our worlds. They took our nests. These 3 are all that live of my blood." Daniel lowered the rifle barrel a little, not all the way. "Why show me?" HFY stepped closer. The ground shook under its weight. "I smell death on you. Old death. Quiet death. Not the death that hunts for sport. The death that comes when it must. My kind knows such ones. We name them Uncle Death. They guard what is left when the pack falls. Daniel felt the night air on his face. He thought of faces he had ended. Pirates who tried to board his ship. A raider who laughed while burning a village. A slaver who chained children. Each time Daniel had pulled the trigger because no other choice remained. Each time the weight stayed inside him, heavy, silent. I am no guardian, he said. You live alone, HFY answered. No mate, no young, no clan. You have space. You have the scent of one who ends things clean, one who does not waste life. The creature knelt, slow, careful. It set the 3 eggs on the ground in front of Daniel. They rocked once, then stilled. Warmth came off them. Keep them safe, HFY said. Hide them. Warm them. When the shells break, feed them. Teach them your ways. Let them keep some of ours. If hunters come, be Uncle Death again. For them. Daniel looked down at the eggs. One shell flexed. A tiny claw scratched from inside. HFY stood again. Dark blood leaked from cracks in its armor. Old wounds, fresh ones too. The crash had not been gentle. I die soon, it said. My ship fails, my body fails. But if you say yes, my line does not die with me. Daniel met the red eyes. They did not blink. They did not lie. Only tired, only trusting. He thought of the empty house, the quiet nights, the goats, the porch, the moons. He nodded once. HFY made a low sound, almost a breath of relief. It turned. It walked back to the broken ship. The hatch closed with a soft click. Engines coughed once. The wreck lifted off the ground. It turned slow. Then it dove deeper into the forest. A final crash came from far away. Then darkness returned. Daniel stood alone. He looked at the eggs. He bent down. One by one he carried them back to his house. Careful steps. His bad leg protested. He did not stop. Inside he cleared a corner of the cellar. He brought blankets from the attic, heat lamps from the goat shed. He made a nest, soft, warm, safe. He set the eggs inside. He turned the lamps low. He sat on the stairs and watched. One egg moved again. A small push. A faint crack sound. Daniel leaned forward. Outside, the twin moons rose higher. The wind moved through the grass. The galaxy turned on without pause. Daniel Brooks, once a pilot now a farmer, had just become something else. Uncle Death had been given young to guard. And somewhere in the deep forest, a hunter's ship lay broken and cold. The night stayed quiet, but the eggs kept their soft blue glow. They waited. The first week felt like a dream Daniel could not wake from. He kept the cellar door locked. He told no one. Neighbors sometimes waved from the road. He waved back and kept his face calm. Inside the house he moved quiet. He checked the eggs every few hours. The nest stayed warm under the heat lamps. He bought extra blankets from town and layered them thick. He found an old incubator in the barn from when he tried to hatch chicken eggs years ago. He cleaned it. He set it beside the nest just in case. The eggs did not need much. They gave off their own heat. The blue glow inside them grew brighter each day. One morning the first egg made a real crack. Daniel sat on the cellar stairs with a cup of coffee gone cold. He watched. The shell split slow along one side. A small claw pushed out, sharp, black. Then a snout, wet, sniffing the air. The baby pushed harder. The egg opened like a flower. Out came a tiny version of HFY. It was no bigger than a large cat. Thin arms and legs. Wet scales that shone dark green. Big red eyes blinked against the light. It looked around. It saw Daniel. It made a small sound, not a growl, more like a question. Daniel stayed still. He spoke soft. Easy now. You're safe. The little one tilted its head the same way its parent had. It sniffed again. Then it crawled out of the shell pieces. It moved to the edge of the nest. It looked up at him. Its mouth opened. Sharp teeth showed, but small. Daniel reached slow. He offered an open hand. The baby sniffed his fingers. Then it pressed its head against his palm. Warm, rough scales. It made the question sound again. He named it Rhine. Simple, strong, easy to say. 2 days later, the second egg cracked. This one came out faster. It tumbled from the shell and rolled once. It landed on its back. Legs kicked. Daniel lifted it gentle. It hissed once, small and scared, then settled when he held it close to his chest. This one he called Kira. She was smaller than Rin. Her scales had faint silver lines that caught the light. The third egg took longer. 4 more days passed. Daniel worried. He kept the heat steady. He talked to it sometimes, told it stories about ships and stars and quiet nights on porches. On the 5th morning, it split. The baby inside pushed hard. When it finally broke free, it was the biggest of the 3. Thick neck, strong claws already. It looked at Daniel with steady eyes. No fear. It climbed out and stood tall as it could. It made a deeper sound, almost proud. Daniel named this one Tor. 3 babies now lived in his cellar. They grew fast. Each day they got bigger. Their legs stretched. Their arms grew stronger. They learned to climb the wooden stairs. They followed Daniel everywhere he went in the house. When he worked outside, they waited at the windows. Big red eyes watched him feed the goats, fix the fence, cut wood. He taught them simple things first. How to drink water from a bowl. How to eat soft meat he cut small. He bought raw beef from town. He told the butcher it was for his dogs. No one asked more. He mashed fruits for them too. They liked apples best. They crunched loud and made happy clicks. At night, they slept in a pile near the heat lamp. Tails curled around each other. Small snores filled the dark. Daniel slept on the couch upstairs, rifle close, door locked. He listened for any sound that did not belong. One evening he sat on the porch with coffee. Rin climbed out through the open cellar door. Kira and Tor followed. They moved quiet on soft feet. They sat beside his chair. 3 pairs of red eyes looked up at the moons. Daniel looked down. You miss the stars? Rin made a low sound. Tor nudged his leg with a broad head. Daniel set the cup aside. He reached out. He scratched behind Rin's ears the way a dog liked. Rin leaned in. A soft rumble came from its throat. Something warm. You were born here, Daniel said. This is home now. I'll keep it safe. The next morning trouble came. A dust cloud rose on the dirt road. A ground car rolled up slow. It stopped at the gate. 2 men got out. One was Carl from town. The other was a stranger in a gray coat. He carried a scanner, the kind used by off-world survey teams. Daniel walked out to meet them. He kept his face blank. Morning, Carl, he said. Carl nodded. Daniel, this is Mr. Hale, from the colony office. He's checking on reports of a crash last week. Daniel looked at Hale. The man was thin, nervous eyes. What reports? Some farmers saw a light in the sky, Hale said. Big streak. Thought maybe a ship went down. We have to check. Safety rules. Daniel shrugged. Saw the light too. Looked like a meteor. Burned up fast. Nothing left. Carl scratched his chin. Sounded close to your place. Hale lifted his scanner. Mind if I take a quick look around? Daniel stepped to the side. Go on. Nothing to hide. Hale walked toward the house. The scanner beeped soft. He moved past the porch, toward the barn, toward the cellar door Daniel had left cracked open. Rin's head appeared in the doorway, red eyes wide. Daniel saw it first. He moved fast. He stepped in front of Hale. That way's just storage. Old junk. Nothing worth scanning. Hale paused. Protocol says full sweep. Daniel looked him in the eye. Calm. Steady. I said there's nothing. You want to go inside my house without cause? Hale swallowed. He lowered the scanner. No need to get upset. Just doing my job. Carl cleared his throat. Come on, Hale. Daniel's good people. If he says it's clear, it's clear. Hale looked at the house once more. Then he nodded. All right, we'll mark it clean. They walked back to the car. Daniel watched them drive away. Dust settled slow. Inside, Rin, Kira, and Tor waited. They pressed close to his legs. Small bodies shook a little. Daniel knelt. He put a hand on each head. They're gone. You're safe. Tor rumbled deep. Kira licked his wrist. Rin pressed against his chest. Daniel stood. He looked out the window at the empty road. He knew this would not be the last visit. Someone had seen more than light. Someone had heard the crash clear. The galaxy was big, but hunters were patient. He locked the cellar door tighter that night. He cleaned the rifle. He loaded extra charges. Their warmth spread through the room. Daniel sat in the dark, with the moons outside. He spoke quiet to the silence. If they come for you, he said, they'll have to go through me first. The words felt heavy, true. Uncle Death had young now, and he would guard them, no matter what came next. Jack Evans stood on the porch of his small house and watched the sky turn dark gray. Heavy clouds rolled in fast. The wind started to howl through the tall grass around New Horizon Colony. Everyone knew what this meant. The great storm season had begun. Rain would come in sheets. Lightning would crack the sky. Winds strong enough to bend metal fences would sweep across the open land. Old beasts work up during these storms. They fought for food and territory. The wild places became even more dangerous. Jack pulled his coat tighter. He had spent the morning checking the solar panels and tying down anything loose. Kate was inside, putting extra food and water in safe spots. They had learned to prepare well after the first bad storm 2 years ago. That one had torn roofs off houses and flooded half the lower fields. Now they were ready, or so they thought. Just as the first fat drops of rain hit the ground, a huge shadow moved at the edge of the trees. He knew that shape. The predator stepped out slowly. Rain already ran down its black scales. It limped on one front leg. The old wound from their first fight had never healed right. Its head hung low. In its arms, wrapped carefully against its chest, were 2 small bundles. They looked like fur-covered sacks at first. Then Jack saw tiny claws and bright eyes peeking out. The creature walked closer. It stopped 10 steps from the porch. Rain poured down hard now. Water streamed off its body in rivers. Jack did not reach for his rifle. He had not touched it since that first meeting. Instead, he stepped down one stair, then another. The wind pulled at his clothes. The predator made a low sound, not a growl, more like a tired rumble. Jack's translator, the small black box he always carried now, lit up green and spoke in its strange flat voice. Storm comes. Rival pack hunts. They smell blood. They want my line to end. Jack looked at the small shapes. One lifted its head. A tiny snout sniffed the air. Its eyes were the same deep gold as its parents'. The other one whimpered softly. They were so small, barely bigger than a large dog back on Earth. Yet even in the rain, they looked strong. Why here? Jack asked. His voice stayed calm, even though his heart beat fast. The translator clicked. You fight. You do not run. You care for hurt. No one of my kind would trust another with young in storm time. Too much hunger. Too much fight. But you, Uncle Death, you keep life safe when death walks close. Jack felt the words hit him like cold water. Uncle Death. The name still sounded strange, heavy, like something carved in stone. He looked at Kate through the open door. She stood there with a blanket in her arms. She gave him a small nod. No words needed. They had talked about hard choices before. This was one more. Jack turned back to the predator. How long? Until storm passes. Until rival pack moves on. Days. Maybe weeks. They are hungry. They need warmth. They need food that is not poison. Jack stepped all the way down to the wet ground. Mud sucked at his boots. He walked forward slowly. The predator did not move away. When Jack was close enough, he reached out. One massive scaled arm opened just a little. Jack took the first young one. It was warm despite the rain. Its small body shook. Sharp little teeth showed for a second. Then it pressed against his chest like it knew safety. The second one came next. This one made a soft chirp. Jack held them both. They were heavier than they looked. Strong muscles moved under soft scales. He looked up at the big predator. I will keep them safe, he said. I promise. The creature stared at him for a long time. Rain dripped from its jaw. Then it lifted one huge claw. It touched Jack's shoulder. Not hard, just enough to feel the weight. Then it pulled back. Uncle Death, the translator said again. The voice sounded different this time, softer, almost grateful. If I do not return, raise them strong. Teach them the human way, the way that fights fair. Before Jack could answer, the predator turned. It walked back into the dark trees. Lightning flashed. For 1 second, its shape stood clear against the sky, tall, proud, alone. Then it was gone. Jack carried the young ones inside. Kate shut the door against the wind. The house felt warm after the cold rain. She spread the blanket on the floor near the heater. Jack set the little ones down gently. They looked around with wide eyes. One crawled forward right away. It sniffed Jack's boot. The other stayed close to its sibling, watching everything. Kate knelt. She spoke softly. Hello, little ones. You are safe now. The bold one tilted its head. It made a curious sound, not scared, interested. Jack smiled, despite the storm roaring outside. He went to the kitchen and came back with a bowl of warm broth they had made from colony vegetables. He set it down. The young ones smelled it. Then they drank. Messy, fast, like they had not eaten in days. Jack sat on the floor with them. Kate sat beside him. They watched as the little predators explored the room. One climbed onto a chair. The other found a pile of clean towels and curled up. Their small growls turned into sleepy purrs. Outside, thunder rolled. The wind screamed. Somewhere far off, other beasts roared in answer. Jack knew the rival pack was out there, hunting, angry. But in this house, 2 small lives rested, safe, warm, trusted to human hands. Jack looked at Kate. We are parents again, he said quietly. She laughed a little. Sort of, but bigger teeth this time. He nodded. The storm would last many days. Food would need to be found. The young ones would grow fast. They would test everything, bite things, run, learn. Jack thought about the predator out in the wild, alone against its enemies. He hoped it would come back, but if it did not, he would raise these 2 the best he could. He looked down at the sleeping young ones. One had its head on his foot. The other pressed against Kate's leg. Trust, pure and simple, given without question. Jack reached out and touched the small scales on the closest one. Warm, alive, his to protect. The storm raged on. Inside the house, a new kind of family began. Jack spent the next hours making things ready. He moved a big wooden crate to the corner of the living room. He lined it with soft blankets and old clothes. The young ones liked it right away. They climbed in and out, played, bit each other gently, learned their new den. Kate cooked more broth. She added bits of soft meat from their stores. The little ones ate until their bellies were round. Then they slept again, tails wrapped tight. Jack sat by the window. Rain hit the glass in hard bursts. He thought about the name, Uncle Death. It made him feel strange, proud, heavy. He had killed before, in wars far away, on other worlds. He had seen death up close. But this was different. This time death had looked at him and chosen him to guard life instead. He turned from the window. The young ones slept peacefully. Their small chests moved up and down. Safe. Jack smiled to himself. The storm could blow as hard as it wanted. Inside these walls, something new was growing. Something strong. Something human. And two small predators would grow up knowing what it meant to be cared for by Uncle Death. The storm lasted 12 long days. Rain hammered the roof every hour. Wind shook the walls like angry hands. Inside the house, though, things stayed calm. Jack and Kate worked hard to make the young ones feel safe. The two little predators grew fast. Their scales hardened, their legs got stronger, their eyes turned sharper every day. At first they stayed close to the crate Jack built. They slept in piles of blankets. They ate soft food Kate mashed up, broth with bits of meat, cooked vegetables cut small. They drank water from shallow bowls. When they played, they tumbled over each other. Tiny growls mixed with happy chirps. One liked to chase shadows on the wall. The other preferred to chew on old leather straps Jack gave them. They learned their names quickly. Jack called the bold one Rex. The quieter one became Luna. Simple names, easy to say. Jack spent mornings teaching them. He sat on the floor with a stick. He showed them how to watch, how to move quiet. The young ones copied him. Rex would crouch low, tail straight, then spring forward fast. Luna moved slower, but smarter. She circled around before she pounced. Jack praised them with soft words and gentle scratches behind their small horns. They liked that. Their tails wagged like happy dogs. Kate taught them gentle things. She showed them how to touch without hurting. She let them rest their heads on her lap. She sang old Earth songs when the thunder got too loud. The young ones listened, their gold eyes half closed. They learned that hands could give warmth, not just pain. That food came without a fight sometimes. That trust felt good. As the storm weakened, Jack took them outside for short times. He carried them in a big sling made from strong cloth. The air smelled clean after rain. The ground was soft mud. Rex and Luna sniffed everything. They tasted wet grass. They chased small bugs that crawled out from under rocks. He kept his knife ready. The wild still held danger. One afternoon the sky cleared for the first time. Sun broke through clouds. Jack opened the door wide. He let the young ones step out on their own. They hesitated. Then Rex bounded forward. Luna followed slower. They ran in circles around the yard. Their claws dug small holes in the dirt. They rolled in grass. They laughed in their own way. Sharp, happy barks. Jack stood on the porch and smiled. Kate came beside him. She put her hand on his arm. "They look happy," she said. "They are learning to be free," Jack answered. Days turned into weeks. The young ones grew bigger. Their legs reached Jack's waist now. Their teeth got sharp, their growls deeper. But they still came when Jack called. They still slept near the house at night. One evening, Jack sat outside with them. Stars filled the sky. He pointed up. "Those lights are other worlds," he told them. "Some have people like me. Some have creatures like your parent. One day you might see them all." Rex tilted his head. Luna pressed close to Jack's side. They did not understand every word yet, but they felt the meaning. Jack was their guide, their protector, their Uncle Death. Trouble came without warning. Late one night, alarms screamed across the colony. Red lights flashed from the watchtowers. Voices shouted over the radio. Raiders, a group from the old mining camp in the hills. They wanted food, Water, tools. They came armed. They did not ask. They took. Jack grabbed his rifle. He checked the clip. Kate handed him extra rounds. She stayed inside with a shotgun by the door. Jack looked at Rex and Luna. They stood tall now, ears up, teeth bared. They sensed the danger. "Stay close," Jack said. "Follow my lead." He stepped out into the dark. The young ones moved with him, silent, fast, like shadows with claws. The raiders hit the edge of the colony first. They broke fences. They shot at lights. Settlers fought back from houses and barns. Bullets flew. Shouts filled the night. Jack moved toward the main gate. He saw 3 men in dark coats. They carried heavy packs. One held a torch. They laughed as they pulled crates from a storage shed. Jack crouched behind a water tank. Rex and Luna waited beside him. Their eyes glowed in the dark. Jack whispered, "Flank them, left and right. Wait for my signal." The young ones understood. Rex slipped left through tall grass. Luna went right behind a row of barrels. They moved like they had trained for this. No sound, no mistake. Jack stood up. He fired once into the air. The raiders turned. They raised their guns. Jack shouted, "Drop your weapons. Leave now." The leader laughed. "Old man thinks he can stop us." He aimed at Jack. Before he could shoot, Rex exploded from the grass. He slammed into the man's legs. Teeth sank into the thigh. The raider screamed. His gun fell. Luna came from the other side. She knocked another man down. Her claws raked across his arm. Not deep enough to kill, just enough to hurt. The third raider backed up. He fired wild shots. One grazed Rex's shoulder. The young one snarled, but did not stop. Jack ran forward. He tackled the leader. They rolled in the dirt. Fists flew. Jack took a hard hit to the jaw. He gave back harder. The man went still. Jack tied his hands with his own belt. The other raiders ran. Rex and Luna chased them to the fence line. They growled loud, deep. The sound carried across the fields. More settlers came. They saw the young predators standing guard. They saw Jack calm and in control. No one shot at the creatures. No one feared them now. By morning, the raiders were gone, tied up and waiting for the colony council. The attack stopped fast because of Rex and Luna. They had flanked. They had struck together. They had listened to Jack. Only a few wounds. The colony stood strong. People gathered at the gate. They looked at the young ones with new eyes. Rex sat beside Jack, blood on his fur from the graze. Luna leaned against Kate's leg. Settlers brought food, water, blankets. They thanked Jack. They thanked the young predators. One old farmer stepped forward. He looked at Rex and Luna. "They fought like soldiers," he said, "but they did not kill for fun. They protected." Jack nodded. "They learned that from us." Word spread quick. People came from other parts of the colony. They wanted to see Uncle Death and his wards. Children peeked from behind parents. They waved. Rex and Luna let some touch their scales. Gentle, careful. No bites, no growls. Jack watched it all. Pride filled his chest. These two had come as tiny, helpless things. Now they stood tall, fierce, loyal. They carried the best of their kind, and the best of humans. Strength, teamwork. That evening, Jack sat on the porch steps. Rex rested his big head on Jack's knee. Luna curled at Kate's feet. The sky turned soft pink. No more storms. No more raiders for now. Jack scratched behind Rex's horns. "You did good today," he said quiet. Rex made a low rumble. Happy. Safe. Luna looked up at Jack. Her gold eyes shone. She nudged his hand. Jack smiled. "You both did. You are family now." The colony changed after that night. People stopped calling the young ones monsters. They called them guardians, helpers, friends. Jack walked through the streets with Rex and Luna at his sides. Settlers nodded, smiled. offered food, shared stories. Jack knew the big predator was still out there, fighting, surviving. One day it would return. When it did, it would see strong young ones, healthy, wise, raised with love and lessons only humans could give. Until then, Uncle Death kept his promise. He raised them strong. He taught them to fight fair, to protect what mattered, to trust. And in return, 2 young predators gave him something rare. They gave him pride, loyalty, a new kind of family, born from the wild and shaped by human hands. The days grew warmer, the fields turned green again. Life on New Horizon moved forward, stronger than before, because sometimes the fiercest creatures needed the gentlest care. And sometimes the deadliest title meant the safest place to leave your young. Warm days came back to New Horizon. The fields turned bright green. Flowers grew along the fences. Birds sang in the mornings. The colony felt peaceful again after the storm and the raider attack. People worked together more. They shared tools. They helped fix houses. They talked about the future. Rex and Luna walked everywhere with Jack. They were almost full-grown now. Their shoulders reached his chest. Their scales shone black like their parents'. Their gold eyes missed nothing. They moved with quiet power, yet they stayed gentle with children. They let small hands touch their heads. They played careful games in the open spaces. Jack kept teaching them every day. In the early light he took them to the edge of the wild fields. He showed them tracks, how to read prints in soft dirt, how to smell wind for danger, how to move as one unit. Rex learned fast. He loved the chase. Luna thought deeper. She found better paths. She waited for the perfect moment. Jack watched them hunt small game together. Not for sport, for food. They shared every kill. They brought pieces back to the house for Kate. She cooked the meat with herbs from the garden. The young ones ate with manners now. No fighting over scraps. They waited their turn. Kate watched them grow too. She taught them words through the translator. Simple ones first. Thank you, safe, family. Rex tried hard. His deep voice made the words rumble. Luna spoke clearer. She liked repeating stories Kate told at night. Old tales from Earth about brave people and loyal animals. The young ones listened with heads tilted. Their tales moved slow when the stories ended happy. One quiet evening, Jack sat on the porch with a cup of warm tea. Rex lay stretched out beside him. Luna rested her head on Kate's lap. The sun dipped low. Colors painted the sky orange and pink. Jack looked at the 2 young predators. Pride filled him. They were strong, healthy, smart. More than that, they were kind in ways their kind rarely showed. They protected without hate. They fought only when needed. They trusted without fear. A low sound came from the trees. Not wind, not birds, something bigger. Jack stood up slow. Rex and Luna lifted their heads, ears forward, eyes sharp. They knew that sound. Their tails went stiff, then relaxed. The big predator stepped from the shadows. It looked different now. Fresh scars crossed its side. One horn was chipped. Its limp was gone. It walked tall, proud. Its gold eyes found Jack first, then Rex, then Luna. It stopped at the yard edge. No growl, no threat, just stillness. Jack walked down the steps. Rex and Luna followed close. They did not run ahead. They stayed at Jack's sides, like guards, like family. The translator in Jack's pocket hummed. The predator spoke first. Uncle Death. The words came clear, strong. Jack nodded. You came back. I had to know. The big creature looked at its young. Rex stepped forward 1 pace. He lowered his head. Not fear, respect. Luna did the same. The parent moved closer. It sniffed them, touched noses. A soft rumble came from its throat. Happy, relieved. They are big, it said. Strong. No weakness. Jack smiled small. They learned from both of us. The predator looked at Jack long. Its eyes studied him. Then it spoke again. I fought the rival pack 3 times. They are gone now, scattered. No more threat to my line. But I was alone, always alone, until you. Jack said nothing. He waited. You kept them alive. You fed them. You taught them. Not just hunt, not just kill. You taught care. You taught trust. They fight as one now. They think before they strike. They protect without joy and pain. That is your mark on them, human mark. Rex made a low sound. He pressed against Jack's leg. Luna did the same on the other side. The predator lowered its head. Not bow, not surrender. Something deeper. Honor. I was wrong before. I thought strength was all. Alone, fierce, no ties. But you showed me more. You showed me what makes a guardian. Not claws, not teeth, heart, and choice. It looked at Rex and Luna. Go with him if you want, or come with me. The choice is yours now. Rex looked at Jack, then at his parent. He stepped forward. He touched noses with the big one again. Then he turned. He walked back to Jack. He sat beside him. Luna followed. She sat too. Both looked up at Jack. Their eyes said everything. This was home. The predator rumbled soft. Not anger. Understanding. They choose you, Uncle Death. Jack felt something tight in his chest. He reached out. He put one hand on Rex's head, one on Luna's. Then he looked at the parent. They will always know you. They will always carry your strength. But they carry mine too, and Kate's, and the colony's. They are not just yours anymore. They are ours. The predator nodded slow. Then the bond is made. My kind will remember. We will watch your borders. We will share hunts. We will warn of danger from the deep wilds. Not as masters, not as servants, as equals, because one human earned that name. Uncle Death, bringer of endings who chooses life instead. It stepped back one pace, then another. Its eyes stayed on Jack. If ever you need me, call. The wild will hear. With that it turned. It walked into the trees. Its shape blended with shadows. Then it was gone, like it had never been there. But the air felt different, lighter, safer. Jack stood quiet for a long time. Rex and Luna stayed close. Kate came down the steps. She put her arms around Jack from behind. She rested her chin on his shoulder. They stayed, she whispered. They chose us, Jack said. That night, the colony had a gathering. People built a big fire in the open square. They brought food, meat roasted slow, bread fresh from ovens, fruit from the gardens. Children ran and laughed. Adults talked and smiled. Rex and Luna sat near the fire. Their eyes reflected flames. People came to them, not afraid, grateful. They brought small gifts, bones to chew, soft hides, toys made from rope. The young ones accepted each one, gentle, thankful. An old woman stood up. She raised her cup. To Uncle Death, and to the ones he guards, may our home stay strong. May our friends from the wild stay near. May we always choose life over fear. Everyone cheered, cups lifted, voices joined. Rex and Luna lifted their heads. They made deep, proud rumbles. The sound rolled across the night. It mixed with human cheers. It felt right. Months passed. Seasons changed. New settlers arrived. They heard the stories. They saw Rex and Luna walk the streets. They learned to nod in respect. Packs of the big predators appeared sometimes. Not close, not to take, just to watch, to guard. They left kills at the edge of fields, fresh meat, no tracks to follow. A quiet thank you. Jack grew older. His hair turned gray, his steps slower. But Rex and Luna stayed young, strong. They walked with him every day. They slept by his bed at night. Kate planted more flowers. She told more stories. The young ones listened. They grew wiser. One clear morning, Jack stood on the hill above the colony. Rex and Luna sat beside him. Wind moved the grass. Far below, houses shone in sunlight. Children played. People worked. Life moved on. Jack looked at his two companions. "You turned out better than I ever hoped," he said quiet. Rex nudged his hand. Luna pressed close. Jack smiled. "And I turned out better because of you." He looked to the wild horizon. Somewhere out there, the big predator lived. Free, proud, but not alone anymore, not really. The name Uncle Death spread, not just on New Horizon. Ships carried the tale to other worlds. People whispered it in stations, in bars, in quiet talks. A human who earned trust from the fiercest hunters, who raised their young, who turned death into protection. Jack did not care for fame. He cared for the quiet moments, for Kate's hand in his, for Rex and Luna at his side, for the colony that grew safe and strong. In the end, that was enough. Because sometimes the greatest strength came from the softest choices, and sometimes the wildest hearts needed only one human to show them a better way. Uncle Death walked the fields with his family. The sun shone warm. The future waited bright. And the bond held, strong, true, forever.